Hey guys, this is Dalsoo with Dalsoo Plays, and just a little quick preface to tell you that this video is a little bit different because it is heavily edited. Basically what happened was I did a full run, and then I realized that my microphone had been having problems throughout the run, and I was unable to load up and save, obviously, because this is a roguelike game. So I just edited it out to give you like a recap of what happened in this episode rather than watching every little step that I do. So I hope you enjoy. First thing I did here was go ahead and fire the leper. I just wasn't feeling him. He has good HP, but he just can't hit anything. So next thing I did was to go ahead and heal up our Joker because I am enjoying his bleed. Then I grab a few new heroes, Barbarian, Crusader, and what's called a Grave Robber, I believe. That's going to be for our next suicide run. Then I upgraded my guild so I could get cheaper upgrades on my character's skills. And I went ahead and gave Sven, one of our healers, an upgrade to her Judgment, which is her like attack damage that she can do from the back ranks. I found this very useful lately, so I decided to spend the gold. I also gave our Man-at-Arms an upgrade to his basic attack damage. I thought about it a while, and I eventually decided to go to the Wield because we need those deeds. I also just decided to go with a kind of tanky group. I have a Crusader, Man-at-Arms, Noah the Barbarian, and a healer. I did not quite prepare as much as I wanted to because I'm trying to save money, but I brought just the general one of everything, a little bit more food, and a little bit more torches because this is a medium run. Here you can see the map, which is fairly large. Even for a medium run, it goes on and on. So I was a little bit scared. Fast forwarding a little bit here because there was just a lot of backtracking, and this is actually the first fight of the whole mission. So I ended up using a Judgment first to kind of smite that back spider. I'm learning that you ought to do the back row first, definitely, now that the new corpse mechanic's in place. Then I start to kind of debate what to do with my Man-at-Arms, and eventually just go for the crush. Next is Noah, and debating between those two, finally decided to do the breakthrough. Got the miss and the debuff. Very unfortunate. Got webbed a bit, but resisted. I think they blight. Is that right? He also dodged. I had some fairly good dodges in this fight. Zealous Accusation finished it for us. Second fight was with a group of rabid dogs. They did come off pretty strong at the beginning and got a bleed and a bunch of stress. From there, we kept taking a little damage here and there. They're pretty nasty little animals, but we managed to do a riposte that worked pretty well. Being that he's marked, he gets attacked a lot and is able to counter a lot. Kept getting stressed in them. I'm not sure what the mechanism of adding stress is. From there, it started to kind of go our way, and finally we finished it. Pretty easy fight, really. I just don't like how they blight and everything. The game didn't reward us too well for that. We camped then about halfway through, a little more than halfway through, and basically just did a bunch of de-stressing. Again, I have to say that stress is the most annoying thing when you're carrying it over from mission to mission because it really depletes your money. So it's very important that if you can, you take out the stress while you're on the mission. It's going to save you thousands of dollars in the long run, which is going to allow you to upgrade your units and just become more powerful more quickly and sort of steamroll the enemies. If you end your missions totally stressed out with 4 characters, it works up to at least about $5,000 if you do want to have them all heal. So I don't recommend that. So basically all we did in this camp is just work on kind of chilling out. Maybe we sat cross-legged and sang Kumbaya. Then we got ambushed at the end of our camp, which wasn't a big deal, although we did get surprised and a bit of a switch around there, which is always very annoying. Also, these guys with their Rens is pretty bad because they bleed. But we did manage to like take out the stress-inducing character towards the back. First, we got a bleed on her, and then we were able to take her out pretty quickly with a Judgment. In the end, the Barbarian did him in with her, what's it called? Breakthrough. Pretty awesome skill, really. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it's great for like finishing fights. We got some deeds there and some more gems. We actually did very well on gems during this run. Skipping ahead to our next fight, we encountered one of these big guys that's very hard to stun, who has lots of HP and takes up 2 spots. They're always very annoying. Really liking that Judgment now that it's upgraded. It does a lot of damage, and she hits from the back row to the back row. So it's one of those places that's very hard to get good damage to. So she actually serves very good purpose by doing that. Our Barbarian's damage is also getting pretty good by this point. And having upgraded all of our skills on almost this whole team, we're just like a damage output machine at this point. We don't even have to slow down killing this big guy. Of course, we still miss quite a bit, but the riposte actually seems to be able to absorb a lot of damage, and getting that guy to be targeted, getting our man-at-arms to be targeted, is incredibly valuable because he is a tank and he's got the HP, and when they might be hitting our cleric or something like that, they're hitting him instead and getting counter damage. So I'm liking that skill more and more. As I play this game through again for the first time in a while, I'm discovering all these new skills that I had typically undervalued at first. I think that might be the dev team responding to some skills that were considered a little bit worthless and actually improving them so that the player would be able to use them more and just to get more out of them so that the game would be more balanced. So you can see me here using that bleed quite a lot. I really love the bleed. She does so much damage, and then on top of it, 6 extra damage no matter what, as long as they catch the bleed. So we're just gonna wrap this one up, and we were rewarded a little bit. I have to say our haul was not bad. Our haul was not bad for this mission. We're trying to get pretty good on gold. Our next big fight was against some, I guess these are called Eldritch characters, but they have quite a lot of armor. They have 33% protection, which makes them very difficult to deal with, actually, especially when they're in the front row like that, and they do have 2 of these kind of caster types that add on stress. Now, in this position, you have to be a little bit worried. I mean, even though we know we're not really going to die, because you have 2 kind of tanky enemies in the front and 2 that induce stress in the back, it can be very difficult to get out of this situation without a lot of added stress. Now, if you recall, stress is the worst thing that you can. I mean, I'd rather take HP damage towards the end of a mission like this than I would take stress, because HP damage is free. As long as you don't die, you heal back completely, you're back right where you started. However, taking stress damage is something that costs lots and lots of money. So you have to be targeting always this back row first as much as you can. And that can be difficult because not everyone can hit the back row like that. Anyway, we were successful in the end, and we overcame this fight. We actually completed the mission, and we were feeling so saucy because of our high DPS, we decided to push on and to this last fight with some Eldritch. This was at the end of the dungeon. There was a chest in it. We're all in it for the money, so we decided to just go ahead and push our luck a little bit because we were doing so well, and we succeeded in taking out those final enemies, and we had even a key so that we could get into the last chest, and we ended up making out very, very well financially. Came out of it with quite a lot of money, as you can see, a lot of crests, and even a few deeds. It seems to be a little bit hard to get the deeds that you need. I'm not sure why, but they seem to be one of the rarest heirlooms. On this victory screen, you can see we made out really, really well financially. We made 7,000 plus. It's hard for me to read the numbers here. My screen is a little small, but we made well over 10,000, including a lot of heirlooms. So it was a pretty good mission. We didn't even take that much stress. I don't think I'm going to stick any of those guys into the stress thing. Although some of them did get some bad quirks. If you see here, they were pretty much all bad, if I recall correctly. Yeah. The game is brutal, man. The game does not pull any punches when it comes to giving you, things to deal with. Like, all these quirks can be overcome. They're not that big a deal. You have to learn how to play with them and work around them. Anyway, we ended up being very successful that run with a lot of money. New income's always good. You can see we have 21,000, a little bit over 21,000 now. We're in good shape. In fact, I think I'm going to do a suicide run next and get even more money. We like to stack my chips up a bit. This has been just a highlight reel. Next time we will do the full episode. We usually do the full run, barring any technical difficulties. Want to thank you for joining us today, and I hope to see you next time.